Begin seated in a comfortable position with your hands on your knees or folded in your lap. Stay long through the back and neck and focus on a steady breath. Tilt your head to one side without raising the shoulder. Other side. Draw full circles one way, then the other, reversing directions with each full turn. Return to center. Hold your hands out and form tight fists. Then open your hands, stretching them as wide as you can. Repeat. Now, fists out, palms facing you, holding a fist, starting with your thumbs, open both hands one finger at a time. Then close back to fists, starting with your pinkies. Repeat. Shake it out. Return to that same position, hands and fists. Right hand stays as is with the thumb over the finger, but this time tuck the thumb on the left hand under the fingers. Opening the hands one finger at a time, beginning with your right thumb and left pinky working from right to left. Then closing the hands, starting with the left thumb and right pinky working left to right. Repeat. Take your time as this exercise may require a lot of concentration. Now we're going to reverse that. Left thumb over the fingers, right thumb under the fingers. Open the hands one finger at a time, starting with the left thumb and right pinky, then closing, starting with the right thumb and left pinky. Shake out the hands, then place the palms down ahead of you, fingers pointing towards your body, stretching the wrists. Your palms may or may not lay flat in this position. You can begin to rock a little from side to side, further stretching the wrists. Release. Extend your arms straight out, palms facing out. Cross the left arm over right and interlace your fingers, completing as much of the full motion as possible. Bend at the elbows, pulling the hands under, through, and finally extending the arms upside down. Reverse to start position and repeat. Release the hands, reclasping with the right arm over left, and continue with the same motion. Release and shake out the wrists. Place your hands on your shoulders, elbows out to the sides. Begin drawing big circles forward with the elbows rotating the shoulders. Reverse, drawing circles back. Release your hands and shake out the shoulders. Place your right hand or forearm down to the side and stretch the left arm up and over. To the other side. Return to seated and twist, left hand to right knee. Keep the right hand close to the body to prop you up taller and gaze back over your right shoulder. Other side. Return to center, then place your palms behind your hips, shoulder width apart. Open and lift the chest, bending gently in the back and gazing up. Release with your hands on your knees, round out the back, making space between the shoulder blades. Place your hands comfortably behind you and lean back as you pull your knees up. Begin to sway the legs from side to side. Make your way to a tabletop position, fingers spread wide as we flow through cat-cow. Taking your time in each position, holding for as long as feels good. Return to a flat back, then begin to wag the tail, swaying the hips from side to side as you gaze over your shoulder toward your hip sway. Again, holding on each side for as long as feels good. Coming back to center, extend the left leg straight back, then place it off to the right edge of the mat. Look over your right shoulder towards your toes, opening up through the left side body. Return to table and repeat on the other side. To tabletop, extend your left arm out to the side, then needle it under the body, coming to rest on your left shoulder and side of the head. You can stay here or option to pull the right arm up overhead, twisting the body and gazing up. Carefully press back to table and repeat on the other side. Right arm under the body, option to place the left arm overhead, twisting the body to face up. Release to table, then walk the hands out, lowering to your forearms, and then gradually working your way into extended puppy pose, slowly melting your heart down to the mat, keeping the hips up. Coming out of extended puppy, press back to child's pose, arms at your sides, hips over heels as you release the tension in your lower back. Sit back onto the heels, interlace your fingers behind your back, raising the arms up as you fold over. Lift to Thunderbolt, then come through table to Downward Facing Dog, walking the heels out if it feels good. Gazing forward, step the left foot up between your hands, lower the back knee and top of the foot, settling into a low lunge, taking the time to release the hips before raising your arms up overhead. Lower both hands to the inside of the front leg, turn onto the outer edge of the left foot, option to use your left hand to press gently on the knee, opening up the hip a little more before settling into lizard. Option to stay up on the hands or lower to your forearms. Lifting up and pressing back to a half split, straighten the left leg, keeping the hips elevated and gently folding forward. Return to low lunge, bending the back knee and holding onto the right foot with the left hand as you drop the left knee. Release and slowly make your way to a pigeon stretch, left foot in front of the right hip. Stretch that right leg back, keeping your hips square to the mat. Get long through the upper body before folding over that front leg. Press up and back to downward facing dog, option to walk out the heels. Gazing forward, step the right foot up between your hands, lower the back knee and top of the foot, settling into low lunge. Take the time to release the hips before raising your arms overhead. Lower both hands to the inside of the front leg. Turn onto the outer edge of the right foot. Option to use your right hand to press gently on the knee, opening up the hip a little more before settling into lizard. Option to stay up on your hands or lower to your forearms. Lifting up and pressing back to a half split, straighten the right leg, keeping the hips elevated and gently folding forward. Return to low lunge, bending the back knee and holding on to the left foot with the right hand as you drop the right knee. Release and slowly make your way to a pigeon stretch, right foot in front of the left hip. Stretch that left leg back, keeping your hips squared to the mat. Get long through the upper body before folding over that front leg. Lift and press back to down dog. Walk the feet up to a forward fold, bending your knees as much as you want to. Holding onto the elbows, sway a little from side to side in ragdoll. Hands down, step the feet to shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out, then lower your hips to garland pose. Hands together at heart center, press the arms into the legs, legs back into the arms, keeping the back straight, chest lifted. Engage the core and raise to standing. Place your hands on your lower back for support, keeping the hips forward, stacked over the ankles. Move into a soft back bend, gazing up. Return to standing and reach both arms overhead, clasping at the elbows. Side bend to one side, then the other. Release the arms, drawing the feet together. Lower slowly, raising the heels to a toe stand, hands to heart, or down on the mat at your sides for balance. Return to standing and walk out the heels. Next, alternate lifting the front of the foot, keeping the heels down. Feet down, lift the toes, spread them wide, then lower them one at a time, starting with the baby toes. Then scrunch them in tight like you're trying to pull your mat in. Repeat. Lower the toes and still with your feet together, keep the heels lowered as much as possible as you lower the hips and hug your knees. Move to a seated position, soles of the feet together to a bound angle. Hold onto the feet, get long through the torso, and draw the knees down. Make your way to a wide angle, taking the time to adjust your pelvis to a comfortable position. Reach the arms forward in a pulsing motion, getting lower and lower each time. Hold the forward fold, option to reach for the feet. Release to seated, lean right, right hand to right foot, left arm up and over to a revolved head to knee pose, gazing up. Over to the other side. Return to seated. Float the heels, point the toes, then flex the feet. Repeat. Draw the legs in to a comfortable seated position, hands on your knees or folded in your lap, sitting up tall, deepen your breath.